There have been kings of Thailand since the 13th century, all absolute monarchs, until a bloodless coup in 1932. Their word was law, their lives remote from the public. Since 1946, one king has reigned the Southeast Asian nation and transformed the monarchy to become inseparable from the lives of all Thais. How has this king integrated his life with those of his people for 60 years through periods of great tumult and change in the region and the world? No one imagined that the boy born at Mount Auburn Hospital in Cambridge, Massachusetts at 8:45 a.m. on the 5th of December 1927 would one day be a king. While born the son of a prince, King Bhumibol was not directly in line to the throne. It is interesting that many of the events that led to His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej, Rama IX, ascending the throne were wholly unforeseen. Named Bhumibol Adulyadej, which perhaps foreshadowing his future destiny, translates as strength of the land. He joined his family as a healthy baby boy. Thailand's reigning monarch at the time of the 1932 coup, which changed the political system, was King Prachadipok, Rama VII. He abdicated on the 2nd of March 1935 without naming a successor. His Royal Highness Prince Anantamahidol was named the next king and was crowned in 1945, but within a year passed away and was succeeded on the 9th of June 1946 by his younger brother, Prince Bhumibol, who became His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej. The new king was 18 years old. King Bhumibol was then studying science in Switzerland, but was to switch to law and political science to assist him in his new and unexpected role. As the royal limousine slowly passed through the crowds that lined the way for his return flight to Switzerland in June 1946, a voice from the crowd suddenly cried out, "Don't forsake the people, Your Majesty." No one expected a reply, yet His Majesty later admitted that he heard it and revealed that he wanted to call back, "If the people do not forsake me, how can I forsake the people?" He never forgot his silent promise. Four years later, King Bhumibol Adulyadej returned to Thailand. As part of the coronation ceremony on the 5th of May 1950, King Bhumibol announced that he would reign with righteousness for the benefit and happiness of the Thai people. However, His Majesty King Bhumibol was to reign over a nation impoverished through years of war and rampant inflation. He began by connecting with his people and with the world at large. From 1959 to 1967, His Majesty King Bhumibol traveled around the world to meet with the leaders of 31 countries and 19 US states. It was often the first time people had heard of Thailand and its monarchy. His Majesty soon left the comfort of the palace and journeyed into the Thai countryside, where the vast majority of people still lived in abject poverty. In 1952, His Majesty took one of his first steps in direct development action. He built a road. By doing this, His Majesty had taken a step toward making the constitutional monarchy really work, in all senses of the word. Over a few years, the king constructed a small palace in each region of the country, so that he could be close to the people for months at a time, visiting them with his queen, so that he could hear their problems firsthand. From 1953 to 1954, their Majesties traveled to the provinces in the central region of the country. Not as easy as it is today to journey outside of Bangkok. Many areas lacked basic infrastructure, and the vehicle used by the royal couple followed what were fondly called disco tracks for the bouncing around they gave the vehicle's occupants.